Alrighty, so we're going to be talking about a new rule today. Before we do that, so we're going to be on slide 11 to start. But before we do that any further, I want to just quickly cover an example that is similar to what we did yesterday. So just jot this down right above slide 9. I want to cover this so that you can see the comparisons between what did we do yesterday and how does that really differ from what we're going to do today, because there's going to be problems on your practice like both of these, and you need to be able to figure those out, like when to use which rule. So when I have stuff next to each other on the same level, our two big ideas is that we are going to multiply our big numbers together. Okay, those would be the coefficients, the numbers in front, and then we're going to add our exponents. So multiply big numbers, add exponents. So in this case here, the numbers that we have out in front are a -3 and a 2. So we're going to multiply those together to get -6. The base that they share is an x, so we're going to add the exponents there to be x to the 6th. And then we put these together for our final answer, -6 x to the 6th. So that was what we talked about yesterday. What we're going to talk about today is the second rule in our exponent properties. This is the second one on that pink sheet. So if you want to add some extra notes in, you can go ahead and do that. The difference between what's happening today and what happened yesterday is we're going to have an exponent outside of another group. So we're going to have some stuff grouped together, and there's going to be an exponent on the outside of that group. So there are a couple examples down below here that I'm going to look at. There's one in particular that I really want to focus on. So notice here on these problems, they all have a small exponent outside of the set of parentheses. Okay? When I have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use something similar to the distributive property, and I'm going to take the outside exponent and move it inside. But today, we're going to be using multiplication when we work with those variables. Okay? So exponent to exponent, we multiply. Yesterday, we added them when they were right next to each other. This is a power going to another power, so we're going to multiply. So in that second example, we bring the 7 into the d to the 3rd. We multiply them and get d to the 21st. In example 3 here, I like this one the best. We're going to take that 3 that's outside. Now we have to hit everything inside. We have to hit the -5, the x, and the y term. Okay? They didn't quite write it out as detailed as I would. So what I would write is I would write -5 to the 3rd, which is what they did here. The x base had a 2 on it, so I would take 2 times 3 to get x to the 6th. And then the y base, that doesn't actually have anything on there. Technically, there's a 1. So I would be taking y to the 1 times 3, which is y to the 3. Now, big idea here. Notice that that -5 is in parentheses and the 3 is outside. So with the big numbers, we're taking that number to a power. With the exponents, we're multiplying. So this is -125 when I type that in my calculator. You have to be really specific here. When you use that in your calculator, there needs to be parentheses around there. Okay? So in words, what we're doing for rule number 2, we're putting an exponent or a power on our big numbers. Okay, so the power is going to go on the big numbers. For example, the -5 to the power of 3. It's not times 3, it's to the power. And then the exponents are going to get multiplied. So multiply exponents. And again, this is when I have an exponent outside of a set of parentheses and I need to bring it inside. We're going to see lots of examples today. Hopefully the practice in our notes will help you on the practice in your, that you're going to work on when you're done with this video. Okay? So, letter A here, we're going to take our 3 outside, and I need to hit that big 3 and the base N. So my number, okay, is a big 3, and I'm going to take it to the power of 3. This is not 3 times 3. This is 3 to the 3rd, which I want you to go ahead and type that in your calculator, and you should get 27. Okay, so 3 to the 3rd is 27. My next base is N. It was N to the 5th. We're going to bring that exponent in. So I multiply it. Since their exponents are going to be multiplying, I get N to the 15th. These are going to go together to represent my final answer. On letter B, again, I'm going to go ahead and bring that little 2 inside. The number I'm working with this time is negative. You have to put parentheses around a negative number, a negative base, if you have it, okay? And you need to type it in just like that. You cannot type in this. That will not get you the right answer. This will get you the answer of a positive 4, because what it's telling you is negative 2 times negative 2. That's what negative 2 squared is. If you don't type it in correctly, it'll give you the wrong sign. The x base had a 4. I multiply the small 2 into it. I get x to the 8th. And then again, we bring those together for x to the 8 as my final answer. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump down to slide, we'll skip slide 13 just because I want to give you time to actually work on your practice today. Let's go ahead and go to slide 14. Why don't you pause the video, see if you can get this one set up, and then replay it, and I'll continue talking through it, okay? So just pause the video, try and get letters A and B set up, start the video again to see if you're on the right track. All right, so what we should be doing is we should be taking the 4 outside and distributing that into the negative 3 and the N term. When I do that, my number will be negative 3 to the power of 4. When I type that in properly with those parentheses, I should get 81. For N, I had it as N to the 4th. I brought a 4 in, so it should be N to the 16th if we use multiplication properly there. So then I get 81 N to the 16th. On part B, again, I bring that 3 into the 4 and the x term. My number would be 4 to the 3rd, which is 64. My x term is going to be 7 times 3, which is x to the 21. And then we'll bring those together to be all one term. These are the really simple ones, okay? I'm going to go ahead and jump down to the next slide here, slide 16. We'll skip slide 15 for now because, again, I want to make sure you have plenty of time to work on your practice. These are the exact same. There's just more than one term this time. So, again, I'm going to bring that 5 outside. Make sure you hit every part inside your set of parentheses. So the number piece would be 3 to the power of 5. Again, please just use your calculator for this. It's not 3 times 5. It's 3 to the power of 5, which is 243. The next base is x, so I have x to the 5 times 5, which is x to the 25. The last base is y. It has a power of 2. I multiply it by 5, and I get y to the 10th. And then again, these all go together. 243, x to the 25, y to the 10. So it has 3 terms. Same with letter B. I'm going to take that 2 outside. I'm going to hit the -5. Don't forget about the A and the B. So it needs to hit all 3 parts there. Our number piece is the -5. Put that in parentheses anytime you have a negative base. -5 times -5 is 25. That A term, it doesn't have anything. You can give it a 1. Multiply it by 2, and that gets me a squared. Then our b term, b to the power of 4 times 2, which is b to the 8th. And then again, we can rewrite these all together. 25a squared, b to the 8th. I believe, let me check, I believe side 17 has some more practice. Why don't you go ahead and see if you can get these. Pause the video, see if you can get these ones set up, and then I'll write in kind of what you should have here. All right, for the number piece, you should have 4 to the 3rd, which is 64. For the x, you should have x to the 3 times 3, which is x to the 9th. For the y, you should have y to the 2 times 3, which is 6. So our final answer for this one should look like so. For letter B, we're going to bring that 6 outside. Make sure you hit all parts. Make sure you have the -3 in parentheses. That's a really big number, 729. Your A term should be 3 times 6, which is A18. Your B term should be B to the 1 times 6, which is just B to the 6th. And then again, we'll kind of put everything together here for our final answer. I'm going to write it down here just because I kind of ran out of room. 729, A to the 18, B to the 6. We are actually going to skip the word problems for this section because I want to, again, give you time to work on your practice, which you can do now.